welcome to Fort Mill Business Today, sponsored by the Fort Mill Economic Council. I'm your host, Patti Mercer, here to share some great things happening in Fort Mill. And to begin, we have Lori Christison, who is the founder of a very unique opportunity, and it's really where everybody can play together. It's even called All Play Together. Now, Lori, tell me about this concept, this all-inclusive playground. What does that mean?
An inclusive playground is a playground that is exactly what it says, where everyone can play together. I'm a speech pathologist and did home visits with 0 to 5-year-olds, and many of those families expressed concerns about taking their children to local playgrounds. Typically, you think of that as an enjoyable experience, and a lot of the families found it to be very challenging and frustrating. I have fond memories of playing with my kids at the playground and had the hope that we could provide that for all families.
It's something that you don't even realize is happening or not happening for everybody until you have a unique situation and you find traditional playgrounds just are not compatible with your family's needs. So tell me about some of the unique things and features that this playground will have that will incorporate all.
Well, inclusive playgrounds provide access and opportunity for play for all individuals, any age, any ability. And what that means is they have zero entry rubberized surfacing, so you can access it at any point. The rubberized surfacing is very cushiony and level, so people in wheelchairs and walkers can access the playground easily. It has double wide ramps that accommodate 2 wheelchairs at the same time.
Oh wow, so it is everybody playing together, as in if you've got your special device and I have my special device, we get to play together in our special devices. That's
right, and a child in a wheelchair that has a typically developing sibling, they can play side by side. And the idea is, children learn best through play and learn best through other children. So it allows everyone to come together and play, learn social interaction, meet sensory needs, it's all encompassing.
To get outside and just to play, everybody deserves to be a kid.
Exactly.
And what says kid more than just playing on a playground?
Well, you do think about playgrounds being for children, but in an inclusive playground, parents in wheelchairs can now interact with their children. Wounded veterans can interact with their children, and grandparents are increasingly caregivers for their grandchildren, so now they don't have to be spectators, they can actually interact with their kids on the playground.
That is so cool. I wouldn't have thought about it like that, but now that you mention it, it's like, duh, yeah. Of course. Because again, until you're at that particular place or situation in your life, you just don't realize.
That's right, and the idea of inclusivity is the play structures are designed to afford opportunities for play to everyone, so it's not geared just for children with special needs. It is a play space where everyone can come together and all families can enjoy the play space together.
I love this idea. Tell me where you are in the process. You obviously have put a lot of heart, a lot of time into the development. Where are we in creating it?
We have a dedicated 9-member board from a variety of backgrounds, so it's very well balanced. We can accept tax-deductible donations. We have a website where you can donate using your credit card, or you can mail in a donation to 100 Main Street, Fort Mill.
Is that where it's going to be?
Nope.
Okay.
But that's where you would mail in a donation.
Okay.
We have land. The town of Fort Mill has donated 1/4 of an acre of land at the recreation space planned at Waterside at the Catawba development.
That's just down Dobie's Bridge Road.
Off the southern bypass.
Yes.
Yep. And you can access it through Bank Street, so you don't have to go through the entire neighborhood. It's very accessible.
Oh, wow, that is fantastic. So this is really a partnership with the community, with the town of Fort Mill. It sounds like there may be some opportunities for all of us to get involved and move this project along even sooner.
Well, we're relying on the generosity of the Fort Mill community and the surrounding communities. A lot of the families that have a need for this kind of positive play experience have traveled all the way to Malden, South Carolina, to be able to enjoy a playground of this magnitude. So our goal is to provide a benchmark play space that can be enjoyed by the residents of Fort Mill, the residents of York, Lancaster, Chester counties, and even South Charlotte, because there really isn't a playground like this for miles around.
Did that surprise you when you began to learn more about this type of experience, this concept, that you would have to drive all the way to Malden, South Carolina, which is what, 2 hours away?
Yep, it's quite a distance. And in a way, yes, you would expect communities to recognize the need and be able to meet that need. These playgrounds tend to be more expensive than a traditional playground, which I'm sure prohibits some communities. But we feel Fort Mill is a progressive town, and their generosity and the generosity of the surrounding communities, Indian Land, Rock Hill, and such, Lancaster has been very supportive, that they will meet the need and we'll be able to reach our financial goal in order to bring the playground to Fort Mill.
That's fantastic. How can someone donate? Where do they, I know that we've got the address for where to send a donation, but everything is so on the web now.
That's right.
Where can they go to learn more about it and donate for it?
Well, there's our website is allplaytogether.com, and like I said, we can accept donations with credit cards on the website. We have the support of several businesses and corporations already in Fort Mill: Domtar, EW Process, Walmart. Several businesses have lended their financial support.
Fantastic.
And we continue to seek financial support. We're all going to have to work together in order to make this a reality. We also have several fundraisers. We have some dine and donates planned, one at Moe's on September 28th and one at Carolina Ale House on October 9th.
Well, wow, you are really getting it out there, and this is going to further give the opportunity for everyone to know what it is, and that it will be inclusive and an opportunity for all to enjoy, because you just never know what your life may look like and what the needs in your future may be.
That's true. One of the bits of information that I learned when I was researching is that people with disabilities are the largest minority group in the country, and like you just said, it's one that any of us can join at any time. You slip and fall and break your ankle, and
suddenly you have a need that is not going to fit well with gravel and rock.
And mulch. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So it truly is a space for those who have a need, but given the structures on the playground, it will be a favorite destination for everybody. It has dual zip lines. It has 3 different play structures to meet the different age levels. It has a variety of swings and truly a very state-of-the-art playground.
Well, Lori, we've covered a lot of information, and thank you so much for your heart, your passion, and your vision for making Fort Mill better. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to share?
Well, I think it would be important for people to visit our website and learn more about the value of an inclusive playground, learn about what it is and what it includes, because each play structure addresses different needs for different children, and many of them are adapted to accommodate children with special needs, but they can be enjoyed by everybody.
By everyone.
That's right. And they are designed to meet sensory needs, They're designed to provide cognitive opportunities for learning, physical strength, and the overall playground, again, really promotes social interaction, which a lot of children with special needs just don't get those opportunities very often.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This is Lori Christison from allplaytogether.com. That's the place you need to go to learn all about this amazing inclusive playground. And when we return, we've got more Fort Mill Business Today. Stay with us.
The past is definitely coming to life at the Fort Mill History Museum, and we invite you to become a part of it. Come and experience our many exhibits and beautiful works of art by talented local artists in the museum's education gallery. Take a trip back in time and experience the rich history of Fort Mill at the Fort Mill History Museum at 107 Claiborne Street. For more information, call 803-802-3646 or go online at info@fmhm.org.
Welcome back to Fort Mill Business Today, sponsored by the Fort Mill Economic Council. I'm your host, Patti Mercer. So excited to share with you all of the great things that are happening on Main Street right here in Fort Mill. And of course, with us, we have Debbie Whitsett, who is the owner of Olives, all about art and lots more. We're going to learn more from you and get excited about the things that are happening right here. And of course, Chip Smith, property owner right here in Fort Mill. We're going to learn how the two of you work together and what to expect. But before we go there, I am so curious to learn more about you, Debbie. You're an artist.
Right, I am.
Yeah, that is so cool. You were living the dream.
Well, I wasn't for a long time, I wanted to be an artist my whole life, and it took me like 50 years to figure out that I was born an artist anyway, so.
You don't try, you just are.
Yeah, and my background, I was in graphic arts and also printing, and when I became a professional mom, what I did just went to all computers. And I did not want to sit at computers anymore, so I had to think of a way to market myself to make money. And so that's when I got into fine arts.
Wow, and you have a shop, a gallery, right here on Main Street. How long have you had your gallery?
Well, I've been on Main Street for 4 years, but I have taught classes for about 15 years. In my home studio in Charlotte.
Fantastic. So do you still have 2 studios, or are you primarily right here on Main Street now?
Well, we downsized and we moved to Fort Mill because I used to walk at Close Greenway every day when I lived in South Charlotte. So I wanted to live close to where I exercise. So I thought, hey, let's look in Fort Mill. And so I looked and I loved Main Street, but it took me a year to find a spot here, but in the meantime, I was on Barberville Road for a year. And it just happened that my lease was up there, and this became available here, and it was just like a magical thing.
Well, what I love about what you're saying is you are living, and you saw this, you embraced this idea of living and working and playing right here in Fort Mill. And to see that you're here and to be able to appreciate the beautiful art that you create and we get to see at Olives as we tour your gallery. And you're also teaching, you can learn.
That's right, that's right. I mainly teach ceramic classes.
Who is this? Is he made of ceramic?
That is the White Rabbit, and he is made of ceramics. And I have the whole set in my window, Alice, and the Mad Hatter is really my favorite.
Yeah.
But he's harder to transport, so this rabbit was easy to bring here. So if you want to, well, thank you. He's like the 3rd rabbit I did. I keep selling the rabbit.
I was about to say, everybody,
everybody loves the rabbit. So he's like, one of my favorite ones, you know. And then I did Mary Quite Contrary. And she was in the window too, and I've got a surprise for the winner, so.
Wow, always coming up with that next idea.
Right.
In Fort Mill, we have neighborhoods, we have clubs and communities and opportunities to, we look for those ways to have an activity, spend time together, and I understand that you offer something like that at Olives as well.
I do. I have the painting. You've heard of the sip and paint, right?
Sip and paint.
I have that.
Mine might look like this.
Well,
For this is a finger painting.
Well, I actually draw it for you before you get there, but that is kind of dying down. So now I'm starting a new thing where you send me a picture of your dog or your loved one, and I print it out before you get there, and we put it onto the canvas, and then you decorate and make a multimedia project that's really exciting and fun. And I have a lot of people sign up for my first one, actually.
You're onto something, and as an artist, you're always thinking outside the box. We love that. We're so excited that you're right here in Fort Mill. You're also doing coffee now.
Right.
Yes? I mean, the Olives and the mud puddle, this is coffee.
Well, I always wanted to have a coffee shop in there, but in the beginning, it's tight when you start up a business.
And they will come.
Yeah, so I didn't have the coffee. But my brother came in actually last year, and he put the coffee in there, and that's my mud puddle. So now we've got the mud puddle, and Olives actually was a duck that I had in Charlotte.
Okay.
So it's
just
named
lots
after
of
my
fun,
duck.
imaginary, not imaginary, because your imagination actually turns into art.
Well, yeah, I love that. Who likes the real world anyway, right?
You can't have as much fun, that's for sure. There's
I know.
certain you got to color inside the lines in the real world.
That's true.
But in your world, in Olives, you can get creative. And from your perspective, when someone comes in, and whether they're coming in to view your gallery or to learn to appreciate what art is, what does it do for just the spirit of a person?
So what does it do to get this?
Yeah, like what does it do in terms of making people feel good?
Oh, wow, I love to make people feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever they come in, that's part of my marketing actually. That's, if you have a good product and you make people feel good, and they will spread the word, and you won't have to do anything else but, do what you do and make people feel good.
Yeah.
So
it's like art really feeds your spirit.
Right.
Your soul.
It does.
Wow. And now beside you, of course, we have Chip Smith. And Chip, you're a property owner, business owner, and there's a connection here. You, I understand, approached Debbie with a concept. Why don't you tell me about that?
Well, we wanted to give an identification to downtown Fort Mill, and we have such talent on here. We wanted to showcase the local talent too. And I said, well, Debbie, can you put the vision of Fort Mill on watercolor on paper? And she did. And so we're very excited about this. It's an artistic approach to it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
What was your vision, and what did you think about?
Well, I just wanted Fort Mill to have the feeling I feel about it, which is has so much potential, and it's fun, and I wanted it to be a fun place and for people to come visit.
Yes, well, I was just going to say, like, my impression, and it's so great because, first of all, Chip, so this is branding and giving information about Fort Mill and all the unique shops and experiences that are available here and growing. We're so excited. But when I look at the colors that Debbie, you chose, it's like it's new growth. Just like the leaves on a tree, they're lighter green, they're a warmer green. And you have captured that in a cartoon version, still very accurate, of the layout of Fort Mill.
Well, thank you.
One thing I'm excited about is she's incorporated the Cotton Bowl and the date of the town, when the town was founded.
Yes.
Which is so historical to the history of this town.
And very true that we want to preserve and embrace our history and realize that life is growth. We move forward, and what does this mean to you? What are the plans for this?
Well, we obviously want to sell it. My wife owns a store on Main Street, Crossings on Main, so we want to promote it through Crossings on Main and at Olives. So we're selling posters, so they're $30 a piece. And so we're trying to, recoup some of our money we invested in it, because Debbie did a lot of work, and I promise you she didn't make too much money off of it. But
yeah.
we're excited about just bringing art back down to Fort Mill, and I think she captured the image of Fort Mill, at least in my eyes.
What a great gift.
Yes, definitely.
And
Thanks.
we're becoming so digitized. To see something that is functional, such as a map, become art, and again, represent where we live, what a fantastic idea.
Yeah, and basically the downtown merchants are going to come with a map to hand out to people who visit down here to show them the stores that are open and active, and
Yeah.
just help them with that process of that map.
So is this available at Crossings now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. And what about the maps, the smaller maps that you're talking about? Where are they available? Debbie's working on that.
We're working on
Awesome.
the brochures.
Yes. So from the time you guys spoke and decided that you would commission Debbie to create this, how much time did it take to do this?
Probably about 6 months. It took
About
it
6
took a
months?
while.
Yeah, it took
Okay.
a long time, because
Yeah.
every time I did something, somebody would come in and go, "Oh, you missed this, and you got to do
Okay.
this," and so it took a long time.
So some of the details that are provided from those that know best, who have probably lived here,
Right.
What did you learn through this process about Fort Mill?
Well, I have learned where every store is.
Yes.
I know exactly what they look like in the front. And, I've learned that everybody has an opinion, that's for sure.
All right. And you know what? That's what makes art beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it speaks to people in different ways. But I'm sure it is a challenge, because you've got to have accuracy.
Right.
And
then
yet
you want
you want to have your art reflected
Exactly.
in that.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Chip, what were some of the things that you felt were really important to include?
Well, the park, obviously, the railroad
Yes.
tracks, the buildings on Main Street, she captured the image of them. I'm looking at the map, the millstone.
Yes.
The millstone.
Yes.
Yes.
And I notice it's not, you kept it open for growth.
Yes.
You kept consistent, the buildings, the shape, the historic preservation consistent. I love our bandstand. I mean, these things that we know about Fort Mill. And you, Debbie, did you find that it was bigger than you first? I mean, when you first think about Fort Mill, you think of one street.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you realize that we are actually more.
Yeah. I had to put an end to it somewhere, actually.
It started growing really fast. Well, what about this building and that building?
Well,
Yeah.
we'll just, what do you say, every couple of years, we'll just
Yeah.
revise a new
That's right.
edition?
Well,
and
then the brochure will be 4
it'll be
feet
a
long.
mural.
Right.
Yes, yes, fantastic. Is there anything that you would like to share with me that I haven't asked her?
I think you've asked a perfect question. I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really reflects downtown Fort Mill, and Debbie did a wonderful job with it.
Yes.
And I hope everybody's excited about it as we are.
Yes, and of course, it's available at Crossings
Crossings on Main and Olives.
and Olives. Awesome. Wow, well, it's been such a pleasure talking with you both. Chip Smith, and then, of course, Debbie
Good to meet
Whitsett.
you.
Nice to
Whitsett,
meet you.
yeah, good to meet
Okay.
you.
And thank you for watching this edition of Fort Mill Business Today, sponsored by the Fort Mill Economic Council. I'm Patti Mercer. Until next time, bye-bye.